Well, Chandler Parsons played in the NBA for almost a decade. From Florida, the Gators, and now at an undisclosed location near somewhere with a nice beach and excellent cocktails. He is joining us live, Chandler Parsons. One of the nicest places I think I've ever been. Okay, I want to start with this, is that the NBA did something interesting. So I've used a term for years. I like analytics. I prefer manalytics. I like the playoffs to be about physicality, get a bucket, get a stop. I like the mid-range game. I don't want a parade of threes. And I think Adam Silver, Chandler, has said, guys, I don't like them either. And I'm going to allow incredibly physical play. And the Cavs and the Celtics that lived on threes, it's not working. I watched the Knicks, and I thought to myself, Chandler, the other night, before the Tatum injury, I said, if this is what the NBA is going to allow, I don't know if they need a tweak. Are the Knicks right now with this kind of physicality allowed, do they need a big tweak to win the title?
I don't think so. And it's an interesting point that you bring up, because during the regular season, if you watch the regular season, those 82 games, it's a completely different product that you see now with the physicality, with just to simply look at the scoreboard. You're seeing old 90s style NBA basketball scores, 94 to 86. The unders are hitting a crazy clip. Like, it is a different level of basketball. And you always heard that, playoff basketball is more physical. The refs let a lot get away with a lot more. And as long as they officiate it consistently, I love it. I think it's a better product. I'm with you. I don't like watching the Celtics shoot 60, 55 threes every single game. And you can see in the playoffs when a tough physical team like the New York Knicks slows it down, junks it up, values each possessions, play slower. They tighten the rotations anyways, so the Tibbs playing 6-7 guys doesn't hurt you necessarily in the playoffs. Over a long season, given the 82 games and the injuries, it might bite you in the butt a little bit. But playoffs, everything shortens. Possessions are more valuable, and it does favor a tough physical team like the New York Knicks, who are proven that they've outplayed the Celtics this series. And again, I hate that Tatum went down. I don't want that to happen to anybody, but you can't look at this series and like, oh, they won the series because Tatum got hurt, or, oh, the Pacers beat the Cavs because Donovan Mitchell's got hurt. This team, both those teams outplayed these teams who struggled against them in the regular season. Think about it. The Knicks didn't win one game against a good team pretty much in the regular season, and they have simply out-toughed and outplayed the Boston Celtics this entire series.
Listen, I've always said, of all the sports, aesthetic, culture, the NBA is a canvas, and everybody's jumper looks different. There's art. I fell in love with Dr. J. Was he the best player? He was the coolest. And, for years, Michael Jordan was both. But there is style matters in the NBA. So when Tyrese Haliburton gets called the most overrated player, I'm like, it's so petty. What? I don't get it. Like, what about his game turns off players? Is it just that he's obnoxious? Like, how could people get there on him?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's the slow start didn't help. They struggled early, and he was kind of a part of that, where he got off to a not such a hot start. Their team struggled, but the Team USA, he made Team USA 2, didn't play. So I think there's a little jealousy almost there. And I think a lot of those votes, Colin, are also coming from bench players, where I think they don't maybe have he doesn't have their respect, because everything I've heard media-wise from superstars, some star-level guys, have kind of given Tyrese his flowers. And again, is he one of these aggressive, sexy, offensive players? No, but he's one of the last true remaining point guards that we have since like Chris Paul. He's a pass-first setup guy that's going to get Siakam the ball in his spots, that's going to find Miles Turner at the right spot for that pick-and-pop three, to get guys out in transition. He is just an absolute pure point guard. And if anything, I think he's underrated. So these votings, I think he nipped that in the bud real quick with this series, and kind of, the game winners and just the clutch, plays he made down the stretch. But looking around the league, there's obviously very, very talented offensive scoring guards. But if I'm looking for a true point guard, I'm looking at Tyrese Haliburton. He's one of two players averaging 10-plus assists over the last 3 seasons, him and Trae Young. That means something to me. I don't necessarily need my point guard going and shooting 20, 25 shots a game.
Yeah. There's been a couple of revelations. Outside of New York, a lot of us thought Jalen Brunson would be a 2, not a 1. He's clearly a 1. Like, the argument's over. He is a great shot maker. But I'll tell you another revelation. is Julius Randle. And this shows he takes to coaching, and Chris Finch and his staff are excellent coaches. I watch him now. This dude when he came into the league, to the Lakers, Chandler, I watched him and I'm like, oh no, the league's changing. He's going to be like Tristan Thompson. Love him as a guy, but he's not built for this sport. I watch him now and I'm like, oh, his passing, his toughness, he can shoot threes. I am shocked by what I'm seeing with Julius Randle. Are you?
I am. I'm with you. And I think when he first came in the league, he's kind of a bull in the china shop. Lou Will said it on our show today. It was a great. As guys get older, I love to see their game slow down and kind of come full circle. And now you can play through him in the post. He takes what the defense gives him. He's still a little streaky of a shooter and inconsistent, but he's making big shots in the big moments right now. Everyone kind of pooped on the idea of this trade early, getting rid of Carl Towns, me included. I didn't love it early, but I think now they're getting their rhythm down. I didn't understand how Gobert and Julius Randle were going to work in the same time with spacing, with Anthony Edwards being such a ball-dominant guard, needing more lanes. They figured out a way to do that, and they filled this roster with guys like Naz Reid where they can go small. Jaden McDaniels, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the league, everything he does defensively, offensively, slashing, cutting. They have vets, they have shooting, they have a little bit of everything, but you're right. And I said this before the Lakers series. Julius Randle is going to have to outplay and equalize LeBron James. He did that. And now he's doing it again against Draymond and Jimmy Butler. And he's doing it in an even higher level and kind of willing this team probably to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. So I'm super happy for him. I've never been the biggest Julius Randle fan of his game, but he's proving me and a lot of people wrong that he is a stud and he has value. And his game is just slowing down and maturing right before our eyes.
Finally, and I think this is really hard. The Chicago Bulls, The Last Dance documentary, they could have won potentially another one, but they just said, guys, we're blowing up the band. I respect that, though I didn't have to agree with it. The Warriors are doing the opposite. We're going to keep Steph. We're going to keep Draymond. We're going to add pieces. I think they're much further from winning a title than the Warriors think. Kerr's great. So is Steph. I think I would move everything. I think they need a big swing. I don't know if the Warriors think they have a big swing. If you ran them, I think this is why Bob Myers left. He didn't want to make these. He was like, I don't want to get rid of Clay. I don't want to do this. What do you do if you're the Warriors if they get extinguished in this series?
Well, think about that. Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s job. He comes in. He's got to decide on Clay. He's got to decide on Jordan Poole. He's got to decide on Draymond. He's got all these decisions to make, and Bob Myers just kind of jumped ship. And I think he's done a pretty good job. All the distraction, all the drama with Jimmy Butler, that clearly has proven to be a great trade. The Steph Curry injury in this series, take anyone's number one off their team in any of these playoff series, they're gonna be hurting from that. So I do think that is a huge factor, and this is exactly why you go and get a Jimmy Butler for that exact reason, to have a closer, to put the ball in his hands to do it. Now, when he goes and takes 9 attempts like he did last game, that kind of boggles my mind a little bit. He's got to be aggressive. Down 3-1 tonight. I'm living and dying with Jimmy Butler taking 20, 25 shots tonight, because that is why he's here, especially with Steph Curry out. Now, if you can package a Jonathan Kuminga, who's found himself out of the rotation, who now with Steph out, he's providing that spark again. And I understand basketball IQ-wise, he's not the best fit with Jimmy and Draymond. The dude's talented, and the dude's going to probably make $20, $25 million and restricted free agency this summer, and he deserves that. Maybe you sign and trade him, and you add some other assets, like guys like Podzinski, Moody, Draymond, like who knows? I think everyone is on the table to kind of maximize this Steph Curry window right now, and it's unfortunate he's not in this series. Hamstring is nothing you really want to dilly-dally with, but I do think they're still kind of a big move away from really being that contender.
Yeah. Kuminga playing without Steph has actually been a bright light in the last couple of games, and they probably now have a little more market wiggle with his emergence in the last couple of games. Chandler Parsons, you do great work. As always, say hi to Beetle and all your friends, and I appreciate it. Have a great week in your undisclosed location.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Chandler Parsons.